Hey gardening friends, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing so well. If you're anything like me, you have been dreaming about what you're going to grow in the 2026 gardening season. I have been looking through different catalogs and looking online, trying to decide what I really want to grow this year. And I ended up placing an order with a new website that I've never ordered from, and the ordering process, the price, and getting them has all been fantastic. So I wanted to share with you today where I got my seeds and also what I am going to grow this year with these new seeds. I definitely am going to grow some other seeds that I already have, but these are some new ones that there's varieties that I've never grown before, different colors, but there's also plants I've never grown from seed before. So I'm really, really excited. The website that I found these seeds on was MarylandCottageGardens.com. And the original website was a landscape design website, but they had a shop. And when I ordered the seeds, the order says seed therapy, and they're shipped from Frisco, Texas. So I got a handful of different plants, and I'm just going to go through. I think the thing is in alphabetical order of what I got. When I was looking at seeds, there were a couple things that I really wanted. I wanted to grow some annuals. Because a lot of my trees and shrubs are so small, I have a lot of area that I need to fill in while those plants are maturing. So I did want to get some annuals for that, as well as I would love to get plants that bring in pollinators, so butterflies and bees, and I'd love to see some hummingbirds in my yard. I also wanted it to have multiple purposes, so to be able to use them for cut flower, doing flower arrangements, or medicinal reasons. So if a plant could have multiple purposes, that was always a win. As well as just, of course, there are some in this list that I just really loved, and so I picked them for that reason, or that my kids really would enjoy them. So I'm going to go through all of these flowers, what I chose, why I chose it, so that if you are also looking, you might want to look at this website too and see what they have. The other thing I wanted to mention about this website was that I think all of their seeds, for sure all the ones that I looked at, have a discount. So a lot of them were like half price, which is a total perk. And that's actually what made me want to order with them, was the low cost of it all. So the first flower that I purchased was Duchess Apricot Peony Aster seeds. And look how pretty these seed packets are. Apricot Peony Aster. They're so pretty. They don't have a picture on them, so I will try to link all the pictures so you can see them. But I was not a big aster fan, and I guess I learned that it's just the perennial type, because these are beautiful. They're so full. I always love a peach flower. I love peaches and purples. And these have that peachy pink vibe going on that I really, really loved. These are an annual flowers, so I'll be able to use them for cut flowers, also to fill in some of those empty spaces. They do self-seed, so if I can get more the next year, that'd be really, really great. And if they grow somewhere where I don't want them, I can always move them around, which is awesome. The next is bee balm. I have always wanted to grow bee balm, but I haven't found a color that I've really loved. But in this order, I did. And this one is called Scarlet Bee Balm. This is one that is great for pollinators. Hummingbirds love it, bees, birds. It smells like mint, and you can use it for herbal teas, which is awesome. I loved the punchy pink color of this. I thought that was the funnest part. And this one's a perennial, so I'm gonna tuck it in somewhere that pink will really, really pop. The next is Pink Sunday Clary Sage. This one, as soon as I saw it, I just was like, this is amazing. I love it. I really want to grow this. I've never grown this flower before. And what I've learned is that the flowers are actually really small. The coolest part of it is the bracts. So it kind of makes this ombre effect of like green and then slowly transitions into pink at the top. And it is gorgeous and the color lasts a long time. You can use these in cut flower bouquets as well as dried bouquets. So that's another thing. I wanted to carry some of my flowers into the winter so that I can make dried bouquets or wreaths, use the dried flowers for Christmas decor or gifts for friends. I thought it would be fun to kind of test that out this year and learn how to work with dried flowers. So this Pink Sunday Clary Sage would be a great one for this. It is an annual, so kind of sad I will have to regrow it next year, but it is so beautiful and I'm so excited to try this out. And I don't remember if I mentioned, but it also holds its color for a really long time out in the landscape, which is a total perk. Even when the flower's gone, that pink on the bracts will stay for a long time. So super excited about that one. The next one is a Pompon Dahlia. I have grown dahlias from seeds before, and it was actually surprisingly easy. I was really impressed with how well they did. And they didn't need like any special care or anything like that. And if you watched my last video, the tubers that I got from those dahlias were massive. I just couldn't believe it. So last year I grew Floret Flower Farm dahlias, the Bee Choice ones, and then I also had some from my Master Gardener's class. I don't know the variety, but those I also grew from seed. And this year I'm trying to store the tubers for the first time. So these ones, I have read that they aren't the best for flower arrangements because they have a flower all the way around. But I really thought this was a flower that my girls would enjoy, especially just having a full bouquet of only those dahlias. I thought would be really, really cute. I also love gladiator or just alliums in general. I just planted some, not tubers, bulbs. There we go. I just planted some bulbs of gladiator alliums and I love that spherical bloom on it. And these dahlias reminded me of that. And I thought it'd be really fun to have other spherical blooms in my landscape. So pumped about that one. Anise Hyssop was the next one, and this one I didn't know a ton about. I just know that one of my favorite YouTubers, which is Hooked and Rooted, she talks about this flower a lot, and so I figured I would try it. It is a perennial. You can use it for medicinal purposes, and that was something that really made me want to grow it. I have it written down here that it can be used for herbal teas. It has kind of a licorice flavor, but it can give you respiratory relief, digestive aid, helps with inflammation and fever. So I can have a really, really pretty flower in the landscape that I can also use for medicine, which I am really wanting to learn how to do all of that. I grew up with a mom that has a lot of knowledge about herbal medicine, and I figured that would also be a good thing for me to slowly pick up on and learn, and also have those resources in my landscape. So I'm excited about the hyssop. The next is Jupiter's Beard. This one, I loved the punchy color. I thought it was very similar to the bee balm that I am also trying to grow. This one is a perennial as well that can handle harsh conditions. So hot, high heat, which is what I have, dry conditions, rocky. So I just read all of that and thought this is a perennial for me. It will be great. Pollinators also love it. It's 24 to 36 inches tall, so it's right around the height that I wanted, and it has a really long bloom period. So I can't wait to try that. From what I've seen, it's not crazy difficult to grow, so hopefully I will have good luck with that one. Poppies are my next one. So far, I have not, actually, this is the first year I have had any luck with poppies. I have tried different methods of growing poppies from seed. I have tried just putting them outside on the soil when it snows. I've seen people that do that so you can kind of see where it scatters. And then because it's the cold time of the year, it gets that cold stratification that it needs. And then they start to grow as it gets warm. Didn't have any luck with that. I also tried getting soil wet and putting the seeds in it and then putting that in the freezer and then putting ice cubes in my landscape to see if they would grow. That didn't work for me either. And so this last year I tried growing them just inside, and I was able to get 2 plants to sprout. And those are out my landscape. Those are ones from my grandmother's garden. So I'm really excited about that. They're a red poppy. I'm not even sure what the variety is, but just to have a little piece of my grandma's garden in my yard just makes me so happy. So I wanted to try to do that same method with this new poppy variety that I bought. It's called Pale Rose Peony Poppy. And again, I love peonies. So these poppies are really full like a peony. So that's part of what made me really want to grow this. The color I thought was beautiful, just that light pink. It has, the other perk of this was that you have the flower, but then the seed pod is really, really pretty. So you can also use those in cut flower arrangements. I am going to try a couple methods again because I have seen that people have success with this. I forgot to mention, I've also tried winter sowing, which I haven't been successful at either with peonies. So I am going to try, I've seen people that just put the seeds in straight up ice cubes without the soil and then put it into the ground. So I think I'm going to try that. I think the other thing is I'm also familiar now with what poppy seedlings look like. I don't know if that was an issue for me in the past, like that I thought it was a weed and I picked it. There was one area that I for sure watched, but who knows? That could have been one of my issues. So I'm just going to try multiple methods again so that hopefully I at least have luck with one method, which would be super. But these also are a self-sower, so I'm hoping that if I can get a couple plants this year that they'll self-sow next year, and they get about 2 to 3 feet tall, and they can kind of tuck in so that I get that spring color, and then once they peter out, something else from that's a summer blooming perennial will start to flower. Scarlet sage. Red is not a color I pick right away in the garden. In fact, I think everything that's red in my garden right now is there because it has a story to it, and I'm kind of learning that I'm attracted to a lot of pastel colors, but red in my garden, there's just pops of red in different spots, and those plants have a story to them, and so I don't want to get rid of them. So that's the same with this plant, this scarlet sage. In our first home, when I started getting into growing flowers in my yard for the first time, I bought sage, red sage, and it was gorgeous. It brightened up my front flower bed so much, and they got way bigger than I ever thought they would. I didn't know a whole lot about them when I planted them. I just knew they were beautiful, and I tried planting them again the next year, and it didn't work. I don't know if by then, I didn't give them as much care the first year, and then maybe the next year I tried to care for them more and they didn't like that. I don't know, but I loved them. It reminds me of our first home that we ever bought, and I thought it would be really fun to bring that into my garden and bring in that pop of red somewhere else. So that's why I'm growing that. It's beautiful, it's bright, it gets about 2 to 3 feet tall. I kind of try to stick to around that height. I do want layers, of course, in my garden, but with some of these flowers, we get a lot of wind out here, and if I get them like too large, the wind just knocks them over. And I'm not the best at staking them, so some of these I got at certain heights, so hopefully I don't have to stake them. The dahlias, I might have to, but again, I'm not very good at taking the time to go out and do that. So it's kind of like these plants just have to fend for themselves. And the next one is apricot peach strawflower. I love peach color. I have to really force myself to do other colors because anything that's like peach, I'm just like, I love that. There's the peachy pinks, the more peachy oranges. I just think they're beautiful, especially tied in with other colors like purple for sure. So I did get apricot peach strawflowers. Strawflowers are the neatest flower. They have the coolest texture, just like straw, like it says. Like you look at it and you just can't believe it feels like that. They work great for fresh flower bouquets, but they also can be dried and keep their color and look very similar to how they were fresh when they're dried. So I wanted to grow straw flowers to make it so that I could use them for fresh or dried. And I already have a couple other varieties of straw flower. I have white and then a mixed version. And so I also got the peach one because that's my favorite. So I can have a variety of straw flowers. Verbascum, this is, it's called Verbascum Mix or Purple Mullein. This is a new flower to me. I'm gonna pull it up so I can actually look at it while I'm talking to you about it. This is a new flower to me. It was another one that was introduced to me by YouTubers. Hooked and Rooted talked about it. But there was another one, I can't remember the other one that talked about it, but it reminded me a lot of foxglove. And so I thought it would be another fun spike type plant, flower in my garden. I thought it would be really fun. And it has, in this mix, it has darker purples, light purples, white. I believe it also had soft pink. Yeah, it says rich purple and rose to soft pink and white. So I thought they were really beautiful. They are one that they bloom in late spring into summer. So I'm hoping it'll kind of fill that hole of going from spring into summer. They just looked really pretty. I thought the foliage of them was pretty. This is one that is called a short-lived perennial or a biennial. So if I love them, I will have to probably start new plants every year because they'll just peter off kind of quickly. So if I love it, I will definitely grow some more of that. The next is, and I said I didn't love red, but I think I kind of do, is a red yarrow. I have 2 other varieties of yarrow in my yard. I have peach sky, which I love because it goes from peach to yellow. Like it has a variety of colors that it changes into, which is gorgeous. And then I have a purple variety that also turns like pink as it ages. And I really love using them in flower bouquets. I just started drying them this year, so I'm excited to try to use them. And the foliage looks kind of like a fern, and it's really, really pretty. So I wanted to try to add more yarrow into my yard. And this yarrow, red yarrow, it's called red, but in the picture, it kind of looks like pink, almost red. And so I'm really hoping that it has more of that pink aspect in it. It may not. I mean, if I don't love it, I can pull it out. But that punch of red sometimes is just really neat. And so I thought I would give it a try. I also can use it for the dried arrangements, maybe some Christmas decor. thought it might have maybe Valentine's Day dried things. I thought it could have some really cool uses. So I'm gonna try to grow that. Another yarrow that I got was Summer Berries yarrow. This one has a mix of colors, like it says. It had pinks and yellows. I'm gonna pull it up here really quick. Yeah, pinks and yellows and purples. So it might have some of that similar pinky purple like the yarrow I already have, but then it also had some that were like darker. So I thought I would give it a try. It'll give me more variety as far as floral arrangements go. Any ones that I don't like, I can pull. The ones that I do love, I can, split and spread throughout my yard. I think yarrow is becoming a favorite on my list. So thought I would try other colors. This one gets 24, yarrow usually gets about 24 to 36 inches tall, and it blooms multiple times in the season. So if you cut it all down, it will bloom again. So I just love it. I'm growing a third variety of yarrow. It's called the Pearl. I really liked this one because it had the look of feverfew, but flowers later than feverfew. So I thought it could fill in when feverfew is done. But then it also kind of looks like baby's breath. So I thought it would be a really, really pretty filler flower for that. I wanted to try drying it. I'm not sure if it will dry the same as the other yarrow that I have. It flowers a little later, and I just really like the look of feverfew. Not feverfew, sorry. I really like the look of yarrow, so I really wanted more. It's great to fill in the gaps. I think it looks pretty all the time. So I'm gonna grow some more. Then the last two things that I have are varieties of zinnias. And I have just really I've learned to love zinnias. There's so many color options. There's single petals, multi-petal. They kind of change colors. They have multicolors. They're really, really pretty. I've grown the Benary's giant varieties that are really, really long. Last year I grew Ballet zinnia, which goes from like a light pink and then gets darker pink. So pretty. I've done the Queen lime varieties. I've done a bunch of different kinds, and there aren't any that I haven't fallen in love with. They go great in flower arrangements. They reseed really easy. They're super easy to grow. They can handle drought situations and high heat. And so it's just checks all my boxes. Besides, it's not a medicinal plant that I know of yet. So that's why I love to grow it. And on this website, again, it's the MarylandCottageGardens.com. There were two that I loved. There was blueberry cheesecake. The colors on these are awesome. I've said it a couple of times, but the purples I love. I'm gonna pull up these zinnias. There are, let's see, what colors does it say here? A palette of purples, lavenders, and creamy whites, some with beautiful bicolor blush. So a good variety, so pretty. It makes it so I can have some different options. I can either just have a bouquet of this variety and have those different colors, or it gives me options to go with like deeper purples or lighter purples or blush or off-whites. So pretty. I just thought they were lovely. The other one that honestly, I was like, okay, I don't know where I'm going to put this. I know I could use it kind of in the fall, but the mixture of them was just beautiful, so I had to get them. And it's the lemon meringue zinnias. They have, it looks like an off-white. Let's see if I can read it again. A palette of creamy whites, which I really love. Creamy white. I'm hoping that, if they get damaged or anything like that, that they won't show it. I've heard of some really pure white flowers, they just show damage really easily. And so I really like the thought of these off-white flowers, but it said creamy whites, soft yellows, and vibrant chartreuse greens. I thought these could be really, really cool with the right flowers. And there's also like a deep yellow, which the deep yellow ones, that's the ones that I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put them, but I'm sure I will find the right flowers and the right time of year. So it'll be really fun. I also thought the yellows of these meringue zinnias would also be beautiful with some of the purple ones and the blues, blueberry cheesecake. So that is my seed haul. I'm really, really excited to start these. I probably will do a mixture of ways to start them. I have the most luck with starting these inside under grow lights, but I keep trying the winter sowing method. Some of these I won't, but things, perennials like the yarrow, I'm going to try doing winter sowing. I might try the anise hyssop with winter sowing and the Jupiter's beard. Zinnias, I will either direct sow or start them inside. The pink Sunday clary, since I'm not familiar with that, I will for sure start those inside, as well as the mullein. The mullein, because it's a perennial, a biannual, I might do both. I'll keep you posted. I really want to do a video on winter sowing. I think that's what I'm going to do next. And I will let you know the things that I decide to winter sow for that. Anyways, I hope all of you are also dreaming about your future gardens and looking at beautiful pictures of flowers that you could grow from seed. I love growing things from seed. It really helps me through the winter time when everything is kind of looking a little bland outside. It's so fun to see these seeds sprout to life and gives me a lot of energy to get through the winter. Thank you so much, friends, for watching my video today. I hope you have a wonderful day and a fun time ordering your seeds and getting them started.